Hey guys, welcome to your daily dose of Schlamma, the non-scripted, improv talk session that we try to do every day, but things have been busy, so um, where do I begin? um, I think we'll begin with some lighter news before getting into the shit. Um, for decades, for centuries, there's been a push for a labor movement in America. And from what I've seen, we are starting to see the fruits of the labor, so to speak. Many working class Americans are fed up with their companies, fed up with their jobs, treating them like subhuman scum. And this is good. There is no way to put it. It's good. However, big however, companies have decided that instead of paying their workers more, like offering them benefits, basic shit that most people can agree need to happen in America, let alone around the world. Instead of doing that, they decided, hey, I'm gonna offer $50 for an application, and if you decline the application through any means, we will deny you your unemployment. So, yeah. A lot of people have been aware of that because they're not even hiding it. They're putting up signs in their restaurants being like, "Are you awesome? Work for Burger King." It's like, dude, you're really just letting people know which jobs to never work for again. It's funny because during the pandemic, they were like, "Oh, we can't survive without your money." And so a lot of people quit. A lot of people were not doing well, so they quit. They looked for a better job because the jobs they weren't working, weren't paying, including myself. I would rather not have a job than basically not have a job. And a lot of people have felt this sentiment. So, a year passed, and the jobs are like, "Hey guys, it's back time to work again, time to go, time to be our slaves again." And a lot of people are just like, no. Fuck you. No. And I do mean a lot of people. Not just like a few fringe people. A lot of people. People who I have never really seen talking about the labor movement are talking about organizing. 15 states, 15 cities in a bunch of different states, the McDonald's branches in those states are on strike as we speak. And good for them. I stand in solidarity with them. There's no reason that people can't demand better wages. FDR, when making the Minimum Wage Act of 1938, basically said, this is for people who work to make a decent living, not just the minimum, a decent living, to sustain themselves and their family. So please enlighten me, Mr. McDonald and Mr. Burger King, how $7.25 an hour is a competitive wage, and how that $7.25 is actually a really, really good wage. You want to know why? You want to really know why companies can get away with literally paying, in some restaurants, paying servers $2.25 an hour and then relying on tips? It's because it's this capitalism functioning as intended. And capitalism, this is like textbook definition, the owner of the business will do basically whatever they legally can to make as much money as possible while paying their employees as little as humanly possible. That's just textbook capitalism. That's just, it's functioning as intended. And it really, brings a tear to my eye when so many people are fucking tired of it. Anyway, on to some goofier news. A bunch of boomers and Gen Xers are freaking out because there was a gas burst and pipe burst in Georgia, or North Carolina, I think, well, in the East Coast. And for a lot of gas stations, there was a gas shortage. Well, as it turns out, this wasn't really the case, except for, like, a couple states. However, boomers were basically doing what we did in 2020, and we're like, oh, gotta buy all the toilet paper now, because why not? Panic buying. It's a thing. And mostly people on Twitter and Reddit and 4chan have just been making fun of them. If you see a person buying 5 gallons of gas and just hoarding it, make fun of them. They're chuds. There's no gas shortage. Literally, it's over. The pipeline's been fixed. There's no gas shortage. It's done. So, yeah, there's that. Now on to some rather unfortunate news. The Palestinian-Israeli crisis has escalated rather quickly in the last week or so. Now, this conflict has been going on since Israel was founded as a country, since Israel was plopped into Palestine. And I the answer is free Palestine. The answer really is. You hear people talking about a two-state solution. That's what we have right now. What the current solution in the Israeli-Palestine conflict is the two-state solution. What there needs to be, the real solution, and I do mean the 200 IQ solution, is America needs to stop funding Israel's military. Like, Israel has the 4th largest military in the world. I often hear people be like, oh, it's too complicated of an issue. It's really not that complicated. Palestine basically has sticks and stones compared to Israel's military. Israel is the oppressor, and what they are doing is ethnic cleansing. See, it would be different if Israel was just like, hey, go somewhere else, and then, like, showed them a place where they could go, like, set them up places, didn't murder them, bomb the Gaza every fucking month, and shit like that, but they're not doing that. What they're saying is, well, go somewhere else, and then they're just kicking them out of their houses, maybe killing them sometimes, and then just telling them to fuck off and die. And that is the Israeli solution. Fuck off and die. And, no one should be supporting that. That's just inhumane. That is a war crime. They are using white phosphorus bombing Palestinians. And I'm not saying that Hamas is good. No, Hamas is bad, but you want to know a little, like, trade secret? Hamas was basically funded by the Israeli military to stop the one form of government called Fatah, which is like a very popular secular government in Palestine. Yeah, this is literally all Israel's fault. They're experiencing the blowbacks. And I'm not saying that Hamas is good. No, they're fundamentalist, conservative, far-right militant groups. I'm not going to defend Hamas, but what I am saying is, hey, imagine if Mexico, out of nowhere, kicked you out of your house and then bombed you. You'd be a little upset. Be a little bit upset. Probably would want to fight, right? You probably would want retaliation against the Mexicans who did that, the people who did that. That's all I'm saying. The same thing can be said with Palestine. And America's not doing anything about it, currently. Unfortunately, America might not have a choice, because the United Nations is meeting on Sunday, because the IDF, or Israeli Defense Force, has invaded Gaza and has started murdering people. So, the U.S. can try to play neutral all they want, even though it's not playing neutral. The U.S. is okay with Palestinians dying. I just want to clarify that. The U.S. wants the Palestinians to die. Joe Biden himself has talked about how making a deal with Israel is the best deal ever. This was back in the 90s, but his opinion literally has not changed. So, yeah. There's that. I don't know really how else to say, like, fuck Israel. And saying fuck Israel's not anti-Semitic. Don't listen to the Zionists trying to tell you that. Well, of course, if you're being anti-Semitic, you're being anti-Semitic. But it's not anti-Semitic if you're critiquing a government murdering people. That's not anti-Semitism. That's like America going into Vietnam, murdering a bunch of Vietnamese, and then being like, well, since you don't like that, that's anti-American, brother, which they actually did during the Vietnam War, by the way. If you ever criticized the Vietnamese conflict, they called you anti-American. They called you a fucking commie. So, yeah, it's along the same lines as that. Typically speaking, and I do mean typically, broadly speaking, genocide is bad. Just because the Jewish people have had genocides happen to them their entire lives, that does not give them a genocide get out of jail free card. You don't get to have a pogrom card. You don't get that. You don't get to do a genocide. You don't get to do a fascism just because people have ethnically cleansed you your entire existence. That's not quite how that works, So, I think that's where I'm going to end this Daily Dose of Schlamma. If you like my content, thank you. I don't know why. Have a good